around the bases. We're set. Spillboards against Harden, who faces the Rockies for the very first time ever. There's no previous experience in terms of Harden matching up against the Rockies. 1 strike on Spillboards. Make it 0-2. And generally, Bob, that does, you would think, benefit the pitcher.
I think it has to benefit the pitcher. He knows what he's going to throw. He knows the location he's going to try to throw it. It's not quite as much of an advantage as it used to be before videotape and advanced scouting. But it's going to take the Rockies at least once through the lineup to get used to that changeup from Rich Harden.
Give Rich 11 strikeouts already on the season. He punched out 10 in his 09 debut.
Well, that changeup should be an especially effective pitch today because of the cold temperatures. Hitters want to make sure they get that barrel of the bat out there in front of home plate. They don't want to get jammed in on the fist. They probably start their swing a little bit sooner than normal. That's when you become susceptible to the off-speed pitch.
Seth Smith swings and misses. The Rockies had 1 hit on Monday. That was Garrett Atkins with a 2-out single in the 7th.
And here's a perfect example. Seth Smith, his first look at Rich Harden, way out in front of a changeup on the first pitch, way behind a fastball on the second pitch.
The wind and the 0-2. He fouled it back.
Probably a little bit too good of a pitch on an 0-2 count. You can see Giovanni Soto giving that high target. They wanted to throw a fastball up above the letters. Harden threw it down the middle, but got away with it.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Harden. I don't know if you noticed, Bob, and it's a lot colder for the team that loses, but the Rockies talked a lot about the pretty awful baseball conditions on Monday. The starter, Ubaldo Jimenez, said he couldn't feel his fingers. Cubs really didn't complain too much, and you can understand that. You win 4-0 in front of the home crowd, but it's a mindset playing in baseball like this, isn't it?
Well, it really is, and you would think the Rockies, for the Rockies, it wouldn't be that much of a problem. I mean, they've played games at Coors Field where they've had to shovel the snow off the base paths before the game started, but a number of these Rockies were complaining about the conditions, that it was the worst they'd ever played in. The combination of the misty rain that fell all day, the cold temperatures, and of course the wind blowing off the lake. A little bit too much.
Todd Helton with a 2-0 count, make it 2-1. He has gone 0 for 10 to start the year versus right-handers. It's at .337 in his career against righties. 3-1. This is about as quickly as we've seen Rich Harden work. Next pitch is a strike. Late call by McClellan. 3-2. Big crowd. They're up. They want to see another strikeout, and they get it. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Spillboard, Smith, and Helton all go down on strikes. The Cubs are coming up. again. Kosuke batting third for the second straight game. Derek Lee with 4 home runs against his former teammate. Fontenot at third for Ramirez again. Johnson is in center. Good to have Gio back in the lineup for the first time in 8 days. Miles at second. Harden pitching, batting ninth. Get to the defense here in a second for the Rockies behind former Cub Jason Marquis. The 30-year-old righty deals to Soriano, ball 1. Cubs know Marquis well. They were with him for 2 years on the same side. 2 balls, no strikes.
No surprises. Jason Marquis, we know very well from experience, a sinker slider pitcher, occasional changeup. His first outing of the year against the Phillies worked almost exclusively away to both right-handers and left-handers.
42 degrees, interestingly enough. With everybody wearing 42 today.
I love it when things come together.
Yeah. Wind out of the north at 8. So while Marquis is a ground ball pitcher, he'll probably challenge the hitters a little bit more, maybe even up in the zone. That's what Ted Lilly did. And it worked. Marquis' 2-2 pitch. And he's run it full on Soriano. A couple of other Jackie Robinson Day notes. They're dedicating the Jackie Robinson Rotunda at the new City Field today in New York. It's a replica of the entry to Old Ebbets Field. And the last player who's active, who was grandfathered in terms of wearing number 42 when it was retired 12 years ago, Mariano Rivera of the Yankees. So when he retires, that's it. Nobody will wear 42 ever again, except for April 15th. Good battle.
You may remember in Jason Marquis' days here as a Cub, this was a problem he ran into from time to time. He really didn't have much problem getting ahead in the count. He did have some trouble, however, putting hitters away.
And a base hit past Atkins into left. That's a great at bat all the way around. You make the starter work, and it ends up with a hit.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defense, brought to you by Home Depot. Seth Smith in left field today. Ryan Spielborg's in center. Ian Stewart over in right field. Atkins, Tulowitzki, Barmas, and Helton across the infield. Chris Iannetta once again behind the plate today for right-hander Jason Marquis.
Now Ryan Theriot snapped a season-opening 6-game hitting streak on Monday. Atkins in on the grass at third. Ryan was not showing bunt, and he looked at a strike. Cubs are percentage points ahead of the Cardinals, in case you're wondering. 5-2 atop the Central. Cardinals are 6-3. They lost last night in extras, and they lost Chris Carpenter. That could be 2. Bad throw and safe. Well, yeah, the other day it was Jeff Baker who threw one away on a pretty routine 6-4-3. Today it's Clint Barmas, and both times with Theriot at the plate. So no error. It's a fielder's choice.
Apparently an easy double play. Good feed from Tulowitzki. Not quite sure why Clint Barmas rushed his throw as much as he did on a hard hit ball. You have to know you've got a little bit more time. But the throw pulls Helton to the outfield side of the bag, and Theriot able to reach safely.
So only 1 out. And Kosuke has a big hole on the right side of the infield. Ball 1. And Chris Carpenter last night in Arizona on swing tweaked his left oblique or rib cage muscle, and it sounds like he's going to end up on the disabled list. He's supposed to start Sunday night here against the Cubs, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It doesn't sound like it, and that's certainly a huge blow to the St. Louis Cardinals. They were really counting on Carpenter being that ace of the staff and eating up those innings. This will be a serious test of their pitching depth.
The bullpen struggled again late last night. They lost 7-6 in 10. I was watching that game in the ninth. The Cardinals came back to tie it. Albert Pujols with the game-tying hit. I think it came with the bases loaded, but I mean, he's just ridiculously hot, even for him. Let's hope he cools off before tomorrow. Two and one.
A good patient at bat here by Kosuke Fukudome. I was talking to hitting coach Gerald Perry about the approach of the offense in the early going this year, taking walks, working deep counts, and we talk about it all the time. Run up the pitch count on the starter, get into the bullpen, so forth and so on. But he brought up inning management. Keep the other team out there on defense. Make them stand out there, especially the conditions like we had on opening day. It's very cold, windy here again today. You stand out there on defense long enough, your hands start to get cold, your muscles start to tighten up a little bit. So that's an unexpected byproduct, which will go away as the season starts to warm up later in the year. But for the time being, the longer you can keep the opposition on defense, the better chance you have of taking advantage of the cold.
Terrio is running on a 3-1, and Kosuke takes the walk. So 2 on for Gili. That's 20 walks over the last 2+ games.
I was asking him to try to explain why, especially a lot of relievers are having trouble throwing strikes in the early going, not just for the Cubs, not just for the Rockies, but they're all around baseball. And I really believe it's a byproduct of leaving Arizona and Florida, where the ball travels extremely well. The infields are hard. I think pitchers get into the habit of pitching away from contact in spring training. In some cases, guys are trying to make a ball club. But once the season starts, most of the time you want to pitch to contact, and I think guys have a hard time getting back into the zone after avoiding it all spring long.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, the two teams Cubs have faced that have struggled throwing strikes train in Arizona, the Brewers and the Rockies. 0-1 to Lee is outside. Derek has won many battles against Marquis, 14 out of 30, including 4 home runs. I think one was an inside the park home run when Lee was a Marlin and Marquis was a Brave. That's a pitch, Bob, Jason Marquis probably needs, and took a little extra look there. Tim McClellan didn't get the call.
That sinker just off the outside corner, tries to tail it back and get that called strike at the knees. That time just a little too far off the corner for Tim McClellan. It seems like we said it every time Jason Marquis pitched for the Cubs. The real key to any outing that he has is his ability to keep the ball down. Of course, down in the strike zone is preferable, but when he gets that pitch up above the belt, it tends to straighten out. Both his sinker, his changeup, and his slider, all three tend to straighten out when he gets them up above the belt.
2 on, 1 out. And the pitch, about the same spot as the other one he didn't get.
Almost identical to the pitch he threw 3 pitches ago, just off of the outside corner. Iannetta holding it a little extra long, but he's holding it outside the strike zone, so that doesn't really do much good. I'm not divulging any secrets here when I say that every umpire has little nuances to their strike zone. A different plate umpire, and Jason Marquis would probably be back in the dugout right now.
Barnes snuck in behind Terrio.
See if Lou starts the runners here. Derek Lee has hit into a boatload of double plays.
They do go, and it's hit foul. Cubs have 6 stolen bases in 9 tries. They have been aggressive. First week plus. Mike Fontenot on deck. He's playing third again for Ramos. Runners go. Called strike 3. Tag applied, and the inning is over. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Chris Allen is now 3 out of 4 in nailing base stealers. We'll head to the second. Nothing from the ballpark. Beautiful Wrigley Field. Underway in the second. 1-0 on Garrett Atkins. 13 pitches in the first inning for Rich Harden. 10 were strikes. He fanned the side. All the strikeouts were of the swinging variety. As I look around the diamond, he's the only Cub without a long sleeve undershirt.
I was talking to Ted Lilly about that before the ball game today. Of course, Ted pitched that gem on opening day here at Wrigley, and the pitcher and the catcher are the two guys that figured to stay the warmest throughout the course of the game for obvious reasons. They're moving around a lot more. Pitcher and catcher involved in every pitch defensively. This might be a psychological thing on the part of Rich Harden too, like the lineman used to go out there with no sleeves.
These guys are
Soldier Field. Yeah.
5 below. Bare arms. Ooh. A full count. Ian Stewart's playing right for Brad Hawk today. He's on deck. Pop foul out of play. If it weren't for Garrett Atkins, we might have seen history, as Ted Lilly was bidding for a no-hitter. Broken up with 2 outs in the 7th. Soto tapped the ground off the inside corner. The pitch was toward the outside. Still 3-2.
We saw Gio do that quite a bit last year, just trying to decoy that hitter in case he's listening or trying to peek back there to see where the catcher set up and then guess accordingly on what pitch might be coming.
There has to be a point where you tap inside and stay inside, right?
Absolutely.
To keep the batter honest. Because if you tap inside and go outside every time, you kind of develop a pattern.
And that's the one thing pitchers and catchers want to avoid. Any kind of consistencies. Every time he does this, he throws that. You have to avoid that as a pitcher and a catcher. And that's part of a catcher's job, too. When you catch the pitcher down in the bullpen, warming up before the game, going all the way back to spring training, then throughout the season, you watch his delivery and make sure he's not doing anything to tip his pitches.
Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. We won't see Sean Marshall in the bullpen today because he's going to start tomorrow after 2 relief outings. Another 3-2 and another foul. This has been by far the best Rockies at bat against Harden early on. Here he comes again. Another foul.
They're all quality pitches from Harden, too. That last one, a fastball at the knees on the outside corner. All you could do was get a piece of it to stay alive. Well, that's what the good hitters do. They try to foul off those pitchers' pitches in a 2-strike count, just buying one more delivery and hoping that pitcher makes a mistake. Another well-placed fastball.
If you think about it, if every guy had an at-bat like this, or the one Soriano had against Marquis, a starting pitcher could go through the lineup only one time. When you go 11, 12, 13 pitches per at-bat, and this one's going to go at least 13. And add it up pretty quickly.
Real quick.
So 13 already, and 8 balls have found the stands.
Just as a point of reference, I believe the average in the major league last year was just under 16 pitches per inning.
Struck him out on the changeup.
Well, we said that a few times yesterday. It's time now for our Jimmy John's delivery of the day. It actually happened on opening day here at Wrigley Field. Ted Lilly, just utterly fantastic, overpowering some of the Rockies with his fastball. Had a great straight changeup working in the game as well. Not only throwing strikes, but throwing quality strikes where the Rockies hitters couldn't really get to him. So Jimmy John's delivery, America's favorite sandwich delivery, guys, or something like that.
1-0 on Ian Stewart. This is Stewart's first career start in the outfield in the majors, his 3rd game in the outfield. Brad Hopp tweaked his left hamstring, and it bothered him in spring training, and that's why he left early on Monday. Rockies have another off day tomorrow in Los Angeles before they play the Dodgers this weekend. Thanks for your patience. We do have our pitch speed graphic working again. Harden's 2-1, bounces in front of the plate. Rich is only 28 years old, rather 27. He'll be 28 at the end of November. Cubs got him from Oakland last July. There's a first base runner for the A's, or rather for the Rockies, on a 1-out walk to Stewart. Ticket sales are at a record pace. Plenty of tickets are still available for the 2009 season. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. I'll tell you, so far, Bob, the Cubs have only needed Harden and Soto on the field. The rest of the defense hasn't been used to this point. It will be at some point. I'd like to turn the double play here with Tulowitzki at the plate.
Well, Satchel Paige, just call all your defenders in. Strike out the side.
Tulowitzki with a very rare, in terms of contemporary times, stance. He's really closed. Very few batters are closed off like Tulowitzki is.
Yeah, the trend over the last 5 or 10 years has been exactly the opposite, for guys to open up that front foot further away from home plate than the back foot. But you can see Tulowitzki with the old-fashioned closed stance. It really is just a matter of personal comfort, what feels good, as long as you can get both eyes on that pitcher as the ball is being delivered. And you would think from a setup like that he would be more likely to drive the ball to the opposite field, but I don't think that's necessarily the case with Tulowitzki. I would consider him more of a pull hitter.
Didn't mean to, and it's slowed down by Harden. Miles picks it up. Safe at first. Tulowitzki just beat it out. That'll be their first hit. We saw Rich make a terrific play in Milwaukee when he knocked one down with his foot. This one ends up costing the Cubs a base runner. Ooh, really close.
That was a lot closer than I thought when I saw it with the naked eye. We'll get a look at it from our first base camera here. Miles comes into your picture, makes a nice barehanded play and throw on the run. It was bang, bang, but I do think the Cubs got him.
Infield single. 2 on for Chris Iannetta, the catcher. Harden has a sign from Soto. And on the hands, and Iannetta held up 2-0. Anything in on the hands in weather like this, it can not only sting for the moment, but it can stick with you the rest of the day.
It'll last a few innings, yeah, to get those bees out of your hands.
He struck out Atkins, the first batter of this inning, but it was a 14-pitch at bat. So in some ways, Bob, it was a really good at bat for Atkins.
It didn't end the way he wanted it to for Atkins, that is, but if you can get a couple hitters in your lineup to have those kind of at bats, we've talked about it repeatedly in the past. It takes a lot out of the pitcher, especially when it's the leadoff hitter in the inning and you've already thrown as many pitches as you did the inning before to strike out the side.
Now a 3-0. That's a strike on the fastball. Barmes on deck, and then Marquis, who went 2 for 2 with a double and an RBI on Friday. We know Jason can hit. It's not an easy out. Ball 4, 2 walks in the inning. And they're now loaded up. And here comes Larry, as the Rockies have by far their best scoring opportunity of the series.
We saw a couple of fastballs in that same location to Derek Lee from Jason Marquis. Marquis did not get the call, nor does Rich Harden. Just a little bit off that outside corner. Usually this is a meeting, if it's not about mechanics, which I assume it is not, it's about you're one pitch away from getting out of this thing. Throw us a ground ball right here, let your defense work behind you. Got it set up to get out of this inning. Don't worry so much about the fact that the bases are loaded with 1 out. Just make your pitch, get that ground ball, and get your team back in the game.
So here's Barmes, who's gotten the lion's share of the time at second base, a former shortstop. And he takes it low. Kick and the pitch. 1-1. Wind blowing very hard in from the north. 1-2. He needs a strikeout. He has 4 already.
He's missed his spot badly on the last 2 pitches, but it's worked out for him. Both pitches were supposed to be fastballs low and away. They both ran up and in, but he got swinging strikes from Barmes.
And he was very late on that one. A big strikeout for Marquis. It's 5 already, and he'll have to Or rather, for Harden, he'll face Marquis with 2 outs.
Just good old country hardball right there. Just rears back and throws a four-seamer right past Barnes. Very tardy on the swing there. Ball is nearly in Gio's glove before he gets the bat through the hitting zone.
Well, the former Cub treated with a lot of boos when his name was announced over the PA. Jason was signed to a 3-year contract. This is the final year of the deal he signed with the Cubs. He won 23 games for the Cubs in his 2 seasons as a bottom of the rotation starter.
People maybe had some misconceptions because of the contract about what Jason Marquis was all about and what he should bring to the ball club, but I think when you're talking about a bottom of the rotation pitcher, he did exactly what the Cubs thought he was going to do. Double digits in victories, ate up a lot of innings. Lou was able to use him as a pinch runner and pinch hitter on occasion because of his athleticism. He could do a lot worse than Jason Marquis at the bottom of the rotation.
Ball and 2 strikes. Fans are getting up. All the outs Harden has recorded have been strikeouts. Marquis bounced that one off his front foot.
See if that has any lasting effect as this day wears on. Got it right on the top of that right foot. Change up that kind of floated up and in, just tried to fight it off.
Marquis hit a grand slam last year as a Cub at Shea Stadium. He's just trying to hang in there at the moment. Here it is. Into center. Johnson coming in. Tried to make the shoestring catch. Could not. The throw's going to go to third, and they got him. So Iannetta's thrown out, but the Rockies do get 2 runs. Stewart and Tulowitzki cross the plate as Jason Marquis is now 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs early in the season. Johnson nailing Iannetta to end the inning, but the Rockies take the early lead. Live and Sports Night presented by Dex. There will be a Bulls and Blackhawks Spotlight Player of the Day. Once the players of the day are revealed, fans can log on to csnchicago.com to enter the Spotlight Player of the Day for a chance to win a pair of playoff tickets.
Nice effort by Reed Johnson out in center field, trying to make a shoestring catch on that sinking line drive off the bat of Jason Marquis. Actually ended up knocking it down with his face. Quickly got to his feet, made a strong throw to Fontenot with a quick tag at third base. We'll get one more look at Reed Johnson coming in, smothering that ball as the Rockies score a couple. And then a quick phantom tag at third base by Mike Fondo to get the call.
Marquis starts Fontenot with a strike. I think the beard helped limit the damage.
A little extra padding.
So the Rockies get their first 2 runs of the series. Two balls and a strike on Fontenot. Bouncer sending Tulowitzki behind second, and Helton digs out the throw. Tulowitzki has a really good arm, but his momentum was taking him toward right center when he made the throw.
Now, when he has the opportunity to get his feet underneath him and get his momentum going toward his target, he's got as good an arm as any shortstop in baseball. But that time, the off-balance throw fading away from his target. Todd Helton does what he does over there at first base. Nice pick.
Johnson. I asked Reed about the playing conditions on Monday. He said it wasn't that bad. How about this, Bob? Reed actually mentioned the umpires. He said, you know who I think about the most? The umpires. We get to go into the heated dugout. We need to run into the clubhouse, but the umpires, they were exposed to those conditions throughout.
I was worried about that too.
I knew you were. You just didn't verbalize it. The 1-1. That's in the dirt on the slider.
I'm more concerned about the umpires on the hot, humid days where they have to stand out on the field for 3 hours in the baking sunshine of a day game with high humidity. Those are the times I worry about the boys in blue.
It's because you care.
Well, it is. And I even asked an umpire one time at second base, are you okay? You've been standing out in this heat all day. You must have sunstroke. Otherwise, you wouldn't have missed that call the way you did.
How much did that line cost you?
Actually, that was a freebie because I got tossed as I was walking off the field.
Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals on Friday at 1:20. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will receive a Cubs W banner, compliments of Bud Light. Scheduled day today. High fly ball for Johnson. But it's not going to go on a windy day. And Spilborghs makes a catch. He was battling Smith. Hit that one in June, Reed, and it'll go.
He hit it in the right place. That is just about the shortest part of the ballpark. Maybe a little bit further left of that, but the gap out there in left center can be reached. Unfortunately, you have to hit a line drive. Reed Johnson absolutely crushed that ball. You see some miscommunication there by the Rockies outfielders as Spilborghs cuts in front of Smith to make the catch.
Giovanni Soto's first start since a week ago yesterday. So this is only his third start of the season. Coy Hill with a 5-game hitting streak, 2 game-winning RBIs, 3 go-ahead RBIs. So Gio has some big shoes to fill. One with a hole in it. The right shoulder soreness. Who might give him 1 day in the Cardinals series, and then the Cubs are off Monday. Barnes circling and makes a catch, and Marquis with a shutdown second after he gave the Rockies a 2-0 lead. tickets, go to Cubs.com. Check out the CBOE front row seats auction today. Called strike to Ryan Spilboards as we start the third. Mike Bavender back here at Wrigley Field for 2009. Great to see everyone on our home crew here on Comcast Sportsnet, all bundled up.
I would think the stocking caps are a big seller today for Mike.
They should be. 1-1 from Harden is outside. Spilborg struck out swinging to lead off the game. He hits one foul. There'll be a lot of foul balls today because of the wind. Everything will be near the foul lines. Will be pushed into the seats.
And that wind blowing pretty much straight in from left field toward the first base foul line. You see the flags atop the scoreboard in center field. Yesterday I felt the way the wind was blowing, you might have been able to get one out of here to left field if you hit it pretty much straight away left or toward the line. But it's going to take a line drive blast to get out of here today.
Foul tip, strike three.
You mentioned it earlier, Len. A lot of pitchers don't take advantage of the conditions of the ballpark. And by that I mean when the wind is blowing in, it's a cold day like it is here at Wrigley Field. And when push comes to shove, if you're not sure what pitch to throw a fastball up and out over the plate. Let them hit it in the air, let the wind knock it down. Other pitchers feel like they have to stick to their game plan regardless of what's going on at the ballpark on a particular day. And that was something I always had arguments with my pitchers about. I said, take advantage of Mother Nature whenever you can.
The Rockies now going through the order the second time as Seth Smith swings and misses at a changeup. And the one thing you can glean the first time through is Rich didn't throw a ton of first pitch strikes. He's now missed on the first one, I think 7 of the 11 batters he's faced on the opening pitch. And when they had success in the last inning, they were patient. Pitch count is up in the mid-50s now. But I think your tendency with a guy who has struck out 6 already is to swing early so you're not in a 2-strike situation.
Jump on that first good strike that you see. I think a lot of the Rockies were assuming Harden was going to start him with fastballs, and he's been throwing a lot of first pitch changeups today.
Drilled deep to center. Reed Johnson's going to have that one go over him, and it's going to be out. A home run. Well, he didn't hit it that high, and he hit it to center, and it's 3-0. Seth Smith with his second hit of the year, and they have both been home runs.
Well, and it makes you wonder how much the out-of-town scoreboard in straightaway center field is blocking that wind. I mean, Seth Smith hit that ball good, no question about it. It was pretty much a line drive, but right in the area in front of that out-of-town scoreboard. Maybe some of the wind was deflected around the board. It didn't affect that ball as much as I thought it would.
Called strike inside corner to Todd Helton. .13th home run for the league leading Rockies in that department. And now 3-1. Helton with Atkins on deck. Off to the left. Weather conditions probably affecting a guy like Helton more than others because he's coming off back surgery. Aramis Ramirez was in the original lineup today and was quickly taken out as he deals with a day-to-day back stiffness ailment. He'll probably be back in there tomorrow as Helton turns on one deep to right, and it's going to bang off the knot hole for a double. That's his first extra base hit of the year.
takes a pitch off the plate inside, and with that quick bat, he's able to pull it and keep it fair down that right field line. Nice play by Kosuke to get it back in quickly, but Helton chugs into second base with a double. The Rockies are having a better look at Rich Harden's second time through the lineup. I still go back to that at bat. Garrett Atkins leading off the second inning when he worked a 14-pitch at bat, and Rich just wasn't the same after that strikeout to start the second inning. Followed that with a walk, a base hit, a walk. Then he did strike out Barmes to get out of the inning, but Jason Marquis got the base hit and the out at third base to end the inning, but he just hasn't been as dominating as he looked in that first inning.
Really had to work hard to get Atkins, and here he is again. A one-out home run by Seth Smith, followed by a double from Todd Helton. 2-0 on Atkins. It also, Bob, looks like the Rockies starting to have a better idea of being able to identify what the pitches are. Having never seen Harden before today. Base hit left field. Helton's going to be held. Now it gets past Soriano. Probably be an error on Alfonso. It is an error. No RBI, and it's 4-0. Rich Dower was going to hold Helton at third until the ball just got past the Cubs left fielder.
Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Atkins all over it into left field. Dower was going to hold Helton all the way at third base. That ball got out to Fonzie so quickly, but when he mishandled it, Helton had enough time to reverse engine and come on home and score anyway.
Looks like David Patton has grabbed the ball down in the Cubs pen.
Number 42.
Number 42. A little bit of a challenge today, but that's no problem. Strike on Ian Stewart, 1-1.
You mentioned Stewart, an infielder by trade. There's some talk that if the Rockies are not in contention by mid-season, that Garrett Atkins would possibly be the next Rocky to be on the trade block.
Clint Hurdle's been their manager for a long time, and they've had a GM in place for a long time, Dan O'Dowd. They have built through the draft. 3-1.
I think when Colorado was awarded a franchise, everybody understood that it was going to be tough to get free agent pitchers to go to Colorado, but they committed themselves to building the organization through their draft and their minor league system. And on opening day today, everybody that played for the Rockies in the starting lineup was homegrown.
There's been a lot talked about with the run scoring and home runs down during this humidor era in Colorado, but it's as unique a place to play as any in baseball, and I think the theory all around is get guys whose first major league experience is there. Runner going, and that's ball 4. Bob, I don't know what Rich will say after the game, if he felt like his MO changed or if he wasn't as sharp after the first inning. I'm not so sure it's been all that different. I just think he had the Rockies really aggressive in the first inning, and then after that key at bat by Atkins, they really got patient.
Well, and I know Larry Rothschild will not want to hear this, but I always get a little concerned when you see a team the second time through the lineup suddenly laying off that changeup. You don't see the swings and misses at changeups that we did in that first inning. And on every fastball that is thrown up there, I'm not saying that he's tipping his pitches, but that's always a concern in the back of your mind when you see a ball club go from flailing away the first time they see him to squaring him up pretty regularly the second time they see him and laying off borderline pitches. I guess for me personally, you'd always like to believe that it's not that the pitcher's ineffective. It's that maybe he's doing something that's giving an edge to the opposing team.
The 0-1 to Tulowitzki, and he laid off that changeup. And again, I think that's a pitch you'd see the Rockies going after early on. They have now taken 3 walks over the last 2 innings. Atkins at second, Stewart at first. They've scored twice in this inning, a home run by Smith, and then Helton scored on a single, but no RBI because of the error by Alfonso Soriano. And Harden is behind yet again. Here's the pitch. Outside corner. This is his 80th pitch. Two DL stints for Tulowitzki last year, just 101 games. A left quad injury, then a right hand laceration. Finished strong. Was under 200 as late as July 23rd. He batted .315 over the final 59 games to and then an uptick. 16 stitches. He suffered the hand injury, slammed his bat down in frustration. Bat shattered and cut his hand. It's no fun. As Carlos Quinton would tell you. Another 3-2, a swing and a miss. 7 of the 8 outs Harden has gotten today have been strikeouts.
And this time gets an assist from Tulowitzki. Chased a fastball up above the letters, probably ball 4, but looked enticing, just couldn't catch up to it.
The combination of the walks, strikeouts, and deep counts in general have Harden kind of nearing the edge here in terms of the pitch count. He's in the mid-80s already, and we're only in the 3rd inning. And he's due up second in the bottom of the inning. Ball 2 on the catcher, Iannetta. Two and one.
I get the feeling this may be it for Rich Harden this early in the season. A guy with the history of arm problems that he's had in the past. You don't want to overextend the guy on a day where he obviously does not have his best stuff. It certainly wouldn't look like that when you look at the strikeouts, but after that first inning, it's really been an effort for Rich Harden.
Bench is a little short with Bradley still out with the groin injury. He said the other day after the game 3 to 5 days, but said he felt better today. Ball 4 as they've loaded him up. And hopefully we'll see Milton back in the lineup this weekend. But we may see if Harden can get through this top of the 3rd, probably see a pinch hitter for Rich in the bottom of the game. Be surprised if Big Z has put his spikes on just in case. back by Barmes.
The only thing you hope is if Big Z is going to be used as a pinch hitter, that he gets plenty of warning so he can go back up into the clubhouse in the warmth, get real good and loose. Well, the last thing in the world the Cubs would need is for their ace to go out there in a pinch hit appearance in a cold, windy day here at Wrigley and injure himself swinging too hard.
That's the other reason, Bob, why while they'd like to get Harden through this inning, get that final out, because if you bring Patton in and there's no clear double switch option, then the Rule 5 kid would have to bat for himself, put the team down at least 4 runs. Harden in the first inning was as dominating as we've seen him as a Cub in a rough couple of innings since.
Well, see that right there, that 2-strike changeup just off the outside corner and down. Barmes got a real good look at it and laid off a nasty pitch. I mean, I'm sure Giovanni Soto would tell you, as a catcher, you expect a certain reaction from the hitter when you throw certain pitches, and that's not the reaction they were wanting from Barmes.
That one was right down the middle on a heater to end the inning. Weird line for Rich Harden. 8 strikeouts through 3, but he's walked 4 and he's given up 4 runs. We'll see if he's going to stay in.
Discussing just what we were talking about. I mentioned, as a catcher, when you call a certain pitch, you can sense that batter's movement in the batter's box, his reaction to the pitch. And especially when you call for an off-speed pitch in a 2-strike count and he throws such a good pitch as Rich did, but you don't get the reaction you're looking for from the hitter, it sends up a red flag. And I'm sure that was at least part of that conversation between Rich Harden and Giovanni Soto.
Both runs in the top of this inning were earned. Aaron Miles facing a former Cardinal teammate. Marquis and Miles were together in 06 when St. Louis won it all. And said, yeah, it's fun to face a former teammate. He's 6 for 13 against Marquis. Again, nothing tricky about Marquis trying to get Miles to hit the ball on the ground. He pops it up. And Spilborghs will put it away. Be a part of history as Rascal Flatts performs the first ever country music show here at Wrigley Field Saturday, July 18th. With Vince Gill and Darius Rucker. Tickets are on sale now at tickets.com, or you can call 1-800-THE-CUBS. So Harden takes the at bat, having thrown 92 pitches. David Patton is back up on the mound, and again with the bench a little short, it could just be that Harden's taking the at bat and is not going to stay in. We saw that Monday with Angel Guzman in relief. He batted but did not return to the mound.
That is strictly a byproduct, as you mentioned, Len, of the short bench. You don't have all your weapons available, all your pinch hitters available. So rather than waste one of your healthy bodies off the bench to take a pinch hit at bat in the third inning of a ball game, trailing by 4 runs with 1 out, you let the pitcher go ahead and take the at bat, because Rich Harden will need the experience. He's going to get a lot of at bats this year as a starting pitcher, but I think his day on the mound is probably done.
On the other side of the ledger, when the Rockies starters have been lights out, they have won. Starters with a 1.35 ERA in the wins. 9-18 in their losses. They've been all or nothing for their rotation. It will be without lefty Jeff Francis probably for the year, coming off left shoulder surgery. 3-2 pitch. Got him, called strike 3. Alfonso Soriano coming up with 2 outs, nobody on. Only hit for the Cubs belonging to Soriano in the first inning. Bernard's big lumber stacked. Much different story for him this time around. Early, slow starts in his first 2 years with the Cubs. Worked very hard in the offseason. Got under it. And this will end up over and right for Ian Stewart, battling the conditions. Marquis has gotten comfortable in his former home. It's 4-0 Rockies.
Time for our Aflac trivia question for today. Name the last team with 3 players each hitting over 40 home runs in a season. Last team with 3 players hitting 40 or more home runs in a season.
So as we suspected, Harden is out, Patton is in, and Lou Bird's still out for Jason Marquis after he gave them the lead with a 2-run single in the second. So David Patton's in the majors. Prior to that appearance in Houston, he had never pitched above A ball. Ground ball to the shortstop, Terrio. Marquis hustling in a close play, but they got him on the pick by D. Lee out of the dirt. I'll tell you, Marquis runs as well, if not better, than any pitcher in the game today. He got down there in a hurry.
And he runs the bases aggressively. We talked about it at length the last couple of years when he was pitching here in Chicago. He takes his at-bat seriously. He's not just a pitcher up there flailing away, trying to get his at-bat over with quickly. He expects to help his team win offensively, defensively, and on the mound.
Strike on Ryan Spilborghs. A weird day for Rich Harden. Like it was going to be a pretty special day early on. He got 9 outs, 8 were strikeouts. But he gave up 4 earned runs, just 3 innings, and made a whopping 92 pitches. Harden threw 13 pitches in the first inning. It took him 14 to get the first batter of the second. And when you consider he threw 43 pitches in the third and threw 22 balls, he's fortunate he only gave up 2 runs. It's 2-2.
Well, and I think David Patton is a guy that's going to benefit from unfamiliarity early on in the season. Even in the early cold weather here at Wrigley Field, there are advanced scouts sitting behind home plate, and I'm sure they're keeping a close eye on David Patton, trying to establish a book on his stuff, what pitches he likes to throw in certain situations, velocities, all that good stuff.
Well, the Menards grounds crew has a lot of familiarity here at Wrigley Field. They were busy on Monday. Getting the infield dirt groomed between innings. Spilborghs has struck out all 3 times.
Talked to Roger Baird briefly this morning, the head groundskeeper, and he was just hoping for some sunshine. This is new turf they have down here at Wrigley Field this year, and it's played extremely well. We haven't seen anybody lose their footing like you do a lot of times on new sod, but he said it could use some sunshine. Couldn't we all?
2-0 on Seth Smith. In Patton's major league debut, he gave up a home run to the first batter he faced, Hunter Pence, and then retired the next 6 in a row. One of the great compliments you can give to any rookie is being seen but not heard in the clubhouse. He keeps to himself. I think it was Angel Guzman who was going to have to carry the bag of candy, the backpack, with a lot of veterans in the bullpen, but then Patton made the team. Got Angel off the ball. Soriano can't make the catch as he had to go over the bullpen mound.
Well, that's a task I'm sure David Patton doesn't mind at all. Long run for Soriano. That wind just kept pushing that ball further and further away until it got to the point where he's right on that bullpen mound. Tries to shorten up his steps a little bit, but can't quite get there in time.
Two on the way, ball 4. Smith is on. Next Todd Helton. Strikeout, a double, and a run. He's now nearing 500 career doubles. He's 28 away. In there for a strike. He's also just 39 hits away from 2,000. 0-2. Kick and the pitch called strike 3. Cubs need some runs. Been a reversal from Monday when they won 4-0. They trail 4-0, but they have Terrio, Fukudome, and Lee coming up. Ryan Terrio faces Jason Marquis. We're in the last of the fourth. Still a lot of time in the hole. Backhanded by Tulowitzki, and he sets, and there's that cannon we were talking about earlier. Gets a chance to set his feet. Let's answer today's Aflac trivia question. Name the last team with 3 players each hitting over 40 home runs in a single season. There's a Cubs connection. It was not the Cubs. It was the Blake Street Bombers back in 1997. Walker, Galarraga, Castilla. And their manager was Don Baylor. He's back with the Rockies as their hitting coach, and Don managed the Cubs from 2000 to 2002. Won the wild card with the Rockies back in 1995. Low and inside on Kosuke.
They've tried a lot of different theories to win baseball games in Coors Field. Most recently the humidor ball that you mentioned, but I still think the Blake Street Bombers had the right idea.
Tulowitzki again.
Score more runs than the other guy no matter what it takes. I mean, they've tried sinker ball pitchers. That worked not very well. They tried power pitchers. That didn't work real well. They tried speedy outfielders to cover ground. Limited success with that, but put a lineup of boppers out there that can hit the ball out onto Blake Street, and you give yourself a pretty good chance to win a ball game in that park.
Lee with 2 outs. 9 straight sent down by Marquis. Tulowitzki has it go off his glove. Ball was struck well by Lee. I'm going to guess hit. And it is.
Well, it's one thing when a guy intentionally plays the ball off to the side because he doesn't want to get in front of it, but it's another thing when a ball is hit so hard that he has no choice but to play it off to the side, and that's what happened that time with Tulowitzki. Tries to pick that screamer out of the dirt on the short hop, and it gets off his glove into center field for a hit.
Fontenot 0 for 1. Trying to keep the inning alive. I think ultimately, I mean, you want to focus on every area as a general manager, but I just think pitching is so much more important to focus on if you're the Rockies than offense, because everybody should be able to hit in general at Coors Field. But I go back to the line about having a pitcher have his first experience be in that ballpark, because when they brought in free agents like Mike Hampton and Denny Nagel, it was so different from everything else they had experienced. It's so easy to kind of have a negative attitude about pitching at altitude and the resulting fatigue after those starts. Now, a guy like Jason Marquis, he's unbeaten at Coors Field. He's 4-0. Tulowitzki will get another chance, and he'll step on second. Well, it worked a couple of years ago, and they got it together late and went to the World Series. It's 4-0 Rockies. As we get into the fifth. Atkins, Stewart, and Tulowitzki against the Rule 5 pick David Patton, who was in the Rockies organization at one time. Michael J. Fox will handle our 7th inning stretch today. Excited about that. Big fan.
Jay Fox probably really appreciates his Cubs infield today.
I would think so. Soriano hesitated for a moment. He'll get back to the track and retire.
We touched on it opening day with Fondo at third, Terrio at short, and Miles at second. One of the, let's say, vertically challenged infields in all of baseball.
Ian Stewart will dig in. Patton was a 12th rounder of the Rockies in 2004. Reds took him in the Rule 5 to deal him to the Cubs in December. He's from Seattle. Went to Green River Community College. One ball, one strike. J. Fox, Bob, was born in Edmonton, Alberta. So this probably feels balmy today for him. Johnson's going to have to chase that one down. Stewart's going to hold up with a double.
Hey fans, this Sunday is 7-Eleven Day at Wrigley Field as the Cubs battle the Cardinals at 7:05. Throughout the game, great prizes will be awarded to lucky fans in random seats. Compliments of 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven.
Tulowitzki with an infield single, a run, and a strikeout.
Well, I've been trying to think of who hits out of a closed stance anymore. We talked about Tulowitzki's approach there at the plate with the closed stance, the left foot a lot closer to home than the right foot. Back in the day, George Hendrick was a guy that probably hit out of an exaggerated closed stance as much as anybody I'd ever seen. His back foot was near the back corner of the batter's box away from home plate, and his front foot was right near the inside corner, really closed up drastically.
Hit hard, and Miles will only have one play that's first, with Stewart moving up. Probably want to take a moment to remember Chicago Defender sports editor Larry Gross, send condolences to his family. Larry passed away in February after a battle with lung cancer, and we always enjoyed seeing Larry here at Wrigley Field, and he will be missed. On strike on Chris Iannetta. I say hi to Doris Sabinski in Marseilles, Illinois. Big Cubs fan. Also, happy belated birthday to Keith Patterson from Hobart, Indiana. Spelled like Hobart, but we know better. We have a lot of Cub fans in Hobart. Kick and a 1-2 offering. Called strike 3, and the inning is over. Third strikeout for young David Patton. Johnson will lead off, bottom of the 5th, 4-0 Colorado. And the roles have reversed a little bit, at least halfway through today.
Yeah, really surprising after that top half of the first inning when Rich Harden came out and mowed down the Rockies 1-2-3 on strikeouts, but struggled a little bit after that. The good news is David Patton has come into the ball game, and it's apparent that the youngster's been paying attention. He came out of that bullpen throwing nothing but strikes.
So the Cubs will go after Jason Marquis for the 5th inning. Reed Johnson will lead it off. followed by Giovanni Soto and Aaron Miles. Aramis Ramirez should be available to pinch hit if needed later, and the Cubs would like to be in a position in the late innings, or maybe he can come up as that tying or winning run. Marquis has been with the postseason club every year of his career. 9 straight playoff teams with the Braves, the Cardinals in the last 2 years with the Cubs. No hard feelings, he told reporters in spring training. He really enjoyed his time here. A bloop out into right center and a base hit for Johnson. Look at the Cubs going. Second time they've had the leadoff man on base.
A broken bat, but it died a hero. A little sinker ran in on the hands of Reed Johnson. Just kind of muscled it out there into shallow center field.
Next batter, Giovanni Soto.
The Rockies are really counting on Marquis playing a pretty key role for them, especially with Francis out for probably the entire year. Here's Soto. Swing and a miss. How did you like facing guys you had once caught?
It's not as easy as you might think. Of course, you know what they throw. You know what their pitches will look like coming out of their hand. You know any patterns that maybe they pitched in the past. But they know that you know. And that's where you get into that mind game where you can almost outguess yourself. I always felt when I faced somebody that I knew before, you just get in the batter's box and look for a good pitch to hit. Don't try to think too much. Understanding what it is that the guy has in his arsenal, but you still have to approach him as any other pitcher.
That gets out of the glove of Iannetta, and it'll allow Johnson to get into scoring position. Only the second time the Cubs have had a runner as far as second base. There's Ryan Theriot back in the first.
It looked like a slider that just didn't take the break. Iannetta kind of lackadaisical as he reached up to catch that high pitch, and it just never took the break. That ball just continues to sail up and in, hits off the toe of the glove, all the way to the backstop.
Drilled to left, right at Smith. Tomorrow, the I-55 rivalry heats up on Comcast Sportsnet. Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs will welcome in Albert Pujols and the rival Cardinals here at the friendly confines. Coverage starts with Cubs pregame live. Don't miss. Cubs hosting the Cardinals. Will kick off our coverage at 12:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Sean Marshall will make his first start of the year. He'll face the ace of the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright.
I would be willing to guess that at some point in the advance meeting before the Cardinals series, the pitchers will hear the term, "Don't let Albert beat you." I mean, that goes any time of the year, but he's off to a red hot start this year, really swinging the bat well.
Miles will ground out 3 unassisted. Johnson at third with 2 outs. Michael Hoffpower is going to bat for Patton.
Your attention, please. For the Cubs, coming on to pinch hit for Richard Patton, Michael Hoffpower.
He has been pretty efficient. How about the Doc as your pitching coach? Luis Vizcaíno gets ready.
Just a quick review of the scouting report on Micah Hoffpower. Usually the pitching coach and the starting pitcher and the starting catcher will go over that day's starting lineup in great detail. And then for the guys off the bench, maybe just a quick line or two, watch the first pitch, good off-speed hit, or whatever the case may be. So when you see a pinch hitter in the middle of a ball game, it's not uncommon for that pitching coach to come out and just give the pitcher and catcher a little refresher of what this pinch hitter is likely to try to do.
Off power late on the swing. 1-1. Fourth appearance this year, all as a pinch hitter for Hoffpower. Down the right field line, hooking toward the corner, bangs off the wall. Hoffpower on his way to second with a pinch hit RBI double. It's 4-1.
Being extremely tardy on a fastball the pitch before. Jason Marquis throws him a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Michael Hoffpower speeds up that bat and drives the ball off the wall down in the right field corner. Cubs on the board. Boy, that's good to see from Michael Hoffpower, a guy that had about 500 at-bats in spring training, and as you mentioned, only 4 pinch hit appearances so far this season. You just wonder at what point he'll lose that great edge that he had down in the Cactus League. He didn't lose it in that at-bat.
Fastball taken for a strike on the first pitch by Soriano. He's 1 for 2. Kick in the offering, turns him away. This is not a knock on Lou at all, but the reaction of some of the everyday players was pretty interesting near the end of spring training. You know, and Lou even admitted it. He said, I know all my guys say that. I say every year I'm going to give them more rest. I'm going to get guys off the bench more playing time. But you know so well it's so difficult to do. You had an easier time of it, right? Because you had an older ball club and you had to build in those days.
We just felt that that was the only chance we had of lasting a long 162-game regular season, was to make sure that our regulars were fresh and rested and our bench players got plenty of at-bats. But it's not easy.
Soriano way up in the air to left. You have Tulowitzki calling off Atkins in foul territory. But the Cubs do get their first run. It's now 4-1 Rockies. dealt to the Cubs for Jason Marquis. I like what David Patton has done in his first 2 outings. Vizcaino against Clint Barnes. Slider for a strike.
Tell you what, Len, about one more inning and the outfielders may need sunglasses.
Oh, we're seeing some blue skies for the first time at home.
Starting to clear up a little bit. I'd actually see some sunshine today.
Vizcaino from the stretch and from the first base side of the rubber. Almost had to lean out to stay alive. Well, Luis has bounced around a lot over the past several years. He was with Milwaukee for 3 straight seasons. Had 2 really good years, 1 year not so good. He was with the White Sox when they won the World Series in '05. Arizona in '06. Yankees in '07. Rockies last year, now the Cubs. Barmes pops it up on the infield. And Miles under it.
Well, not a lot of tricks from Vizcaino either, and the league is pretty well aware of what he features: his sinker and the slider, occasional 4-seam fastball, but his bread and butter pitch is that hard slider. Can be an effective pitch when he stays on top of it, keeps his hand behind the baseball when he gets down around it, much like Carlos Zambrano or any pitcher for that matter. When you drop your arm angle, get your hand on the side of that baseball, it doesn't have the same kind of action in the hitting zone. Did that wild pitch there, even though it wasn't a wild pitch since nobody's on base, but it ended up nearly down to the Cubs bullpen. Hit the bricks behind home plate and shot all the way down the left field line.
This the outside corner. 2-0. Tigers are putting one on the White Sox in the 8th. It's 9-0 Detroit. Miguel Cabrera with his 4th home run. Indians off to a terrible start. They're 1-7. But they lead at Kansas City 2-1 in the last of the 6th. Royals just got with a splintered bat on a bouncer. Terrio throws out Marquis. Sign up for a subscription to Vineline, the official monthly magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Only Vineline offers exclusive coverage from spring training all the way through the Cubs' next postseason run. Visit the Vineline blog at Cubs.com and order today. Mike Lowell with his 2nd home run of the year. The Red Sox off to a 2-6 start, but they lead at Oakland 2-0 in the top of the 3rd. And the Cardinals, Diamondbacks are just underway. No score in the 2nd. John Garland on the mound for Arizona. Joel Pinheiro for the Cardinals. St. Louis will fly here for a 4-gamer starting tomorrow. Washington still without a win, 0-7. They'll host the Phillies later tonight. I don't know if you saw any of that game in New York as they opened Shea Stadium the other night, but I mean, having been at the new Yankee Stadium, it looks so much like the old place. You talk about a difference. I mean, Citi Field is nothing like Shea Stadium. That's the greatest compliment we could give him. It's dropped by Fontenot, Spilborg, still thrown out by a half step. And that'll end the Rockies 6. Cubs trail by 3 from Wrigley. Cubs batting in the last of the 6th. Marquis has given up just 1 run through 5. Ball 1 to Terrio. Will be followed by Fukudome and Lee. 4 hits for the Cubs. Only 1 extra base hit. That was an RBI double by pinch hitter Michael Hoffpower. Well, remember the Rangers, and they swept Cleveland to start the year last year. 29 runs their first 3 games. Well, they've lost 5 in a row. Hard to make too much out of what's happened early on. Marlins off to a great start. They're 6-1. Called strike 3. Terrio erased. Lou Pinella's favorite restaurant is Harry Carey's Italian Steakhouse. Go where Lou goes for Chicago's best steaks. In Chicago, Rosemont or Lombard, call 773-HOLY COW or visit harrycareys.com for reservations.
You talk about the early part of the season. You can't put too much weight on it. Obviously, games that you win or lose this time of year are every bit as important as games you win or lose in September.
Yosuke trying to bunt his way on. Marquis gets him.
Wrong guy. You know, Jason Marquis is a good fielder. Gets off that mound quickly. Even though it was a good bunt, Fukudome was thrown out easily. I mean, here are the Cubs sitting going into play today at 5-2. Top of the division by percentage points, and we know there are still some adjustments to be made with this team. Lou's talked about the bullpen and the roles down there. As the season progresses, I'm sure some guys may move into or out of that starting rotation in that 5 spot, and there's always some tweaking to be done, even on good teams early in the season.
The best team in the West early, the Padres. Well, everybody had Jake Peavy being traded after the Padres get off to a terrible start. They've won 5 straight. Oh, 1 to lead. Now 0-2. The Orioles lead the East at 6-2. Orioles and Blue Jays, only 2 teams above 500 in the American League Eastern Division. First 0-2 count for Marquis all day.
I'm pretty sure I saw a publication not too long ago that had Baltimore picked to finish last in the AL East, Kansas City to finish last in the Central, and Seattle to finish last in the West in the American League, and they're all 3 in first place right now.
A walk-off win for the Mariners over the Angels yesterday in their home opener.
The buzz in the bleachers. The sun has broken through out there. There's actually shadows on the field.
Marquis probably throws as much in between starts as any starter in the game today. He loves to work on his mechanics. Just repeat his delivery over and over and over again. And there were times as a Cub when he would get a little out of whack. He's been in whack today, unfortunately, for the home team. That's a phrase you can use. 3-2. Derek has run it full. Fontano on deck. 4-1 Rockies in the 6th. The payoff pitch. Line shot, base hit. Smith over to cut it off. It'll be a 2-out single for Lee. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Reds next Tuesday, April 21st. Second night game coming up, 7:05. Be sure to arrive early, though. First 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive limited edition Carlos Zambrano no-hitter statue, compliments of Fisher Nuts. The first night game will be this Sunday. Nationally televised. Ted Lilly against TBA. Fontenot skies it foul. All of a sudden, it's August 7th here at the ballpark. Feels good.
Well, it looks a lot warmer than it is, but I'm sure those fans that are sitting in the sunshine really appreciate it.
All you need to do right now is kind of peck away. You don't need to get it all back just yet. We're only in the 6th inning. Guzman getting warm. Rockies know all about big Cubs comebacks. Cubs had the big one last year. What was it, 9-1 at one point? Cubs came back to win. The former Cubs were a big part of that rally. Blanco and DeRosa. It's 3-1.
Boy, Jason Marquis had been all around the strike zone in the early going of this game. When he did miss, he wasn't missing by much, but now starting to jerk some pitches out of that zone, missing his spot by a wide margin. Maybe the first signs of a little bit of fatigue setting in.
Pulled foul off the tarp. Shortest start for Rich Harden as a Cub. He went just 3 innings. Cubs have had excellent work from the bullpen since. Only 1 hit allowed by Patton and Vizcaino, trying to keep the Cubs within striking distance. Lee runs on the 3-2, ball 4. Tying run will come to the plate. Bring Bob Apodaca back out without the ski cap this time.
Oh, it's getting warmer. Yeah, this is more of a stall for time meeting than anything else. The Rockies just got some activity. Number 42 throwing down in the bullpen.
Oh, we have a chance. Let's look at our Felco upcoming game schedule. Cardinals Cubs. Always fun when they meet up, and these will be big games. Both teams off to excellent starts. Off day Monday. We'll have game 1 tomorrow, and then next week against the Reds Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, and then off to St. Louis for the weekend.
Next batter, center fielder Reed Johnson.
Reed with a leadoff single and scored the lone Cubs run in the 5th inning. Number 42 up for the Rockies. Spring training. What Jason Campbell, not sure. Lefty's up. I think that's Brendan Rush. Fouled back by Johnson. Now we know that's Glendon.
Yep.
Jason Hamill's 6'6", 220. So that looks like 6'6". Well, the clouds for the most part are gone. Blue skies all around. Pushed off the lake. You look out over the lake. nothing but blue sky.
Swing Garrett Atkins took back in the second inning against Rich Harden to stay alive in his at bat. Ultimately ended up striking out, but those emergency swings on borderline pitches, too close to take, not really good enough to put a good swing on. So you just stick the bat out there, try to foul it off, hope the next one is right in your happy zone.
Another 1-2, another foul. This all started with 2 outs. Lee with a single, Fontenot to walk. Key ready, has a sign from Iannetta. And the next 1-2. We'll do it yet again. Neil Kotz cranking it up. Let's go Reed. Chanted. Ground ball to Tulowitzki. You saw Lee try to wait and screen the shortstop. Didn't work, unfortunately. And the Cubs leave 2. Off to the 7th. Rockies 4, Cubs 1. The 1/3 reliever. The bullpen's been good today. Neil Kotz already making his 5th appearance. He's been busy. And he faces Seth Smith to start the 7th. Kotz has averaged an out per appearance. 4 appearances, an inning and a third. These lefties, Bob, sometimes you'll see guys getting 86, 87 appearances, and a lot of times the innings pitched to be in the 60s or 70s.
This sets up well for Neil Kotz in this inning with Smith, the left-hander, leading off. Helton, another lefty in the on-deck circle. Then Neil had to find a way to get through Garrett Atkins, a right-handed hitter, before Ian Stewart, another lefty. So 3 out of the first 4 hitters this inning left-handed. Perfect opportunity to get your left-handed specialist in the game.
Smith with a home run his second time up. Strikeout, a home run, and a walk. Make it 2 walks. Tomorrow night, the Stanley Cup playoffs kick off on Comcast Sportsnet. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, and the Blackhawks will battle the Calgary Flames at the United Center. Coverage starts with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Don't miss the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 1 tomorrow night at 7, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Todd Helton with a blooper out into center, and they had 2 on with no outs. Atkins 1 for 3.
Next batter, third baseman, Garrett Atkins.
Here come the Hawks. Nikolai Habibulin was outstanding on Sunday against Detroit. He's that good. They're going to go a long way.
I don't know a lot about hockey, but I know if your goalie's hot, you've got a chance to win. That's the most important thing going into the playoffs, is to have that hot guy in the nets.
Award-winning actor Michael J. Fox will handle our 7th inning stretch today. Neil Kotz and Jam here in the 7th. Broken bat, ground ball, not hit very hard. They'll get 1 and 2. Nicely turned. 5-4-3 on the double play. I didn't know if Atkins hit it hard enough, but Fontenot and Miles teamed up for a nice double play.
Really nice double play. Kind of an awkward throw from Mike Fontenot to start the double play, coming into the infield, throwing back across his body, but a great turn by Aaron Miles. That ball was barely in his glove for a fraction of a second. Hung in there, took the hit from the base runner, and completed the relay throw in time to get 2.
Runner at third with 2 outs. Ian Stewart. Ball 1. 2 walks, a double, and a run for Stewart, making his first career start in right. He's an infielder by trade. Smith, the runner at third. Got that one, 1 and 2. Nice job if Neil Kotz can get out of it. They had runners at first and second, no outs. And the Rockies cleanup man at the plate. Always have to wait an extra half second with Tim McClellan to see if he's going to ring him up. He did not. Borderline pitch.
Must have been low. Perfectly split the middle of the plate, maybe just a tad below the knees.
Ground ball to Miles. This should do it. Time to sing the stretch.
To the ball game, 4-time Emmy and 4-time Golden Globe Award-winning actor. You know him from his starring roles in Family Ties as well as Back to the Future.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bottom of the 7th. Cubs trail 4-1. Award-winning actor Michael J. Fox is in the booth with us after conducting the 7th inning stretch. Michael, you said a little scary, but it's exhilarating, isn't it?
That's pretty. It's life on the high wire. That's pretty scary, but it's great. It's a great thrill and a great privilege, and I'm happy to be able to do it once in a lifetime.
It's a 2-1 on Giovanni Soto. We know you're very busy. You got a book, you got cameras all over the place, an ABC special coming up in May, and you're staying very busy.
Yeah, we're doing especially you just call the game when you have to.
No problem.
We're doing a special about optimism. We've been traveling all over the world seeking out optimism and finding optimism in all the corners of the world that it exists in. And when you think about optimism, you think about Cubs fans and their belief every year that that's the year it's going to happen, and I think it's going to happen very soon. But so we wanted to be here and talk to people.
You've been doing so much work in the fight against Parkinson's. You've raised more than $142 million to date. Your website, michaeljfox.org, and we certainly encourage people to go there. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of interesting stories from people too.
Yeah, it's it's a unique privilege to be able to turn a circumstance that I may not have asked for and may not have chosen for myself, but one that I found myself in, and to be able to turn that into an opportunity to help people and to be of service and be part of a community is a great privilege, and I'm very grateful for it.
Fly out by Soto, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Now, my wife has all this great information about you and your career. Can you tell the Back to the Future story? Now, my understanding, tell me if this is right, is you were going to do it, but you were shooting Family Ties, right?
Right.
And Eric Stoltz got involved, but then eventually you got the role. Is that correct?
Yeah, Gary Goldberg, who produced Family Ties, and Steven Spielberg were good friends. And Steven tried to get Gary to let me out of Family Ties to do Back to the Future, and Gary said no, for good reason. It would have been hard for him to do, and he didn't even tell me about it. And then they shot for a few weeks with Eric Stoltz, and it wasn't working out the way that Steven wanted, so he went to Gary and said, can I ask him again? And Gary said, okay, you can ask him. And so he asked me. He gave me the script and said, read this, and if you like it, let me know and we'll do it. And I picked it up, I held it to my forehead. I said, it's the best script I've ever read.
So were you working, double shifts basically at that time?
I was doing Family Ties in the daytime and Back to the Future.
Wow.
But
it was worth it, though, wasn't
it? That was 20-something years ago. I was a young man then. Now I need a nap between naps.
Well, I have to say, the scene where you get up on stage with the guitar and play Johnny Be Good, it ruined a lot of us amateur guitar players forever, because that's what we all aspire to do someday.
That was so much fun to take a little bit of each of my favorite guitarists, whether it was Chuck Berry or Jimi Hendrix or whoever, and kind of rip it off a little bit, put together that routine.
Here's Joey Gathright making his home debut as a Cub as he bats in the pitcher's spot. We're with Michael J. Fox, born in Edmonton. So this weather's no big deal for you, right?
It got a little chilly this morning, even for a thick-blooded Canadian like me. But I was born in the prairies in Alberta, but I grew up on the West Coast, where it's a little balmier. I think Rich Harden and
Ryan
Dempster are both from my part of the world.
They are. Michael, really a pleasure, and best of luck. We'll check out the TV special and the book. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Michael Plastic actor and activist.
And what a great attitude to take, given the disease that he's battling, try to turn it into a positive and help others, raise awareness, and certainly raise a bunch of money.
Found back by Troy Tulowitzki. Angel Guzman, the 5th Cubs pitcher. The first 3 relievers with 4 shutout innings and just 2 hits. After a tough day for the starter, Rich Harden. Angel winds and another foul. The final in Detroit. Tigers 9, White Sox nothing. Armando Galarraga is now 2-0 as he defeated Jose Contreras. Contreras is 0-2. To Tulowitzki. Now it's full. Cardinals just scored 5 times in the 3rd inning. In fact, they're still batting, leading 6-0 at Arizona. Jumped all over John Garland. Foul tip, strike 3.
Guzman coming in out of the bullpen, firing strikes. Hey, it doesn't take long to learn when you pitch for a Lou Piniella ball club what it is you need to do when you come in out of that bullpen, and that's throw strikes. It's that simple. And we know in the past when Angel Guzman has thrown strikes, he's been very effective.
Outside corner. This hasn't been the best day for the Cubs to this point. Still not over, but the big positive you can take out of this is the bullpen. I mean, you eat up innings, and so far so good. And going back to the standings and things that happen now, I mean, the games all count just like they do late. But I think sometimes the bigger themes become a little bit more important than the day-to-day result. I mean, the Cardinals lost last night, and all they cared about after the game is how is Chris Carpenter, because in the long run, that's much more important to their chances.
You bring up a good point. When the team breaks camp in spring training, whether it's Florida or Arizona, there's always question marks. Some teams have a lot of question marks. Some teams maybe only 1 or 2 big question marks. But as you progress into the season, you want to answer those questions as quickly as possible to give your team the best chance to win, to field a team that you think can be competitive on a daily basis. Every ball club is going to make some adjustments, some minor, some major, as we move forward. But there are some themes developing with teams already. Whether it be a lack of offense, lack of defense, lack of starting rotation or bullpen.
The third, and Fontenot pops the mitt. Gets it across in plenty of time. $39,361 paid crowd. Don't tell Cub fans it's too cold to watch a ball game. Over 40,000 on Monday. In the rain. Barmes, base hit. His first of the day.
Well, the Byproduct of that base hit into right field is that Clint Hurdle's going to take Jason Marquis down for a pinch hitter here with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Rather, the 8th inning, excuse me. Dexter Fowler, I believe.
Your attention, please. For Colorado, pinch hitting for the pitcher marquee, Dexter Fowler.
I heard Gale earlier, a couple of DL moves today. Cardinals did put Carpenter on the shelf. Tony La Russa saying 4 weeks, best case scenario, worst case 8. So they're just going to keep their fingers crossed, according to the Associated Press story today out of Phoenix. Brad Thompson was sent to AAA, right-hander, and Mitchell Boggs and Chris Perez were called up. Runner going, and that one laced toward the gap for Fowler. And Barmes is going to come around and score rather easily, and it's now 5-1. Fowler had a really tough day Monday. Struck out 3 times, went 0 for 4, but he comes off the bench and adds an insurance run.
Now, all 3 of the strikeouts on Monday were on fastballs up above the belt, up around the letters. He just couldn't seem to lay off of. That time a fastball down and out over the plate. He just dropped the bat, hit on it, split that gap in left center, and with Barmes on the move at first base, he scores easily.
There's Spilborg's runner at second. Going to run in. Fouled back. Also looks like the Cardinals are going to bring up right-hander P.J. Walters to start on Friday. All kinds of pitching changes for the Cubs' next opponent. Kyle Loesch is listed at the moment. They're going to move everybody back. Carpenter out. Also Daisuke Matsuzaka on the DL. I guess arm fatigue is what they're calling it.
I'm sure there will be a segment of the baseball media that will blame it on the WBC. Number of intense pitches that he threw in that round-robin tournament.
Would you be part of that contingent?
I would probably jump on that bandwagon too. It's just not realistic to ask pitchers at that point, very, very early in spring training, to go out and pitch in competitive ball games. The spring training games are a different story. Sure, it's competitive. Sure, you'd like to win, but pitchers are out there working on some things. If they feel a little twinge or if they think they need a day off, well, it's no problem to rearrange the schedule, push them back a day, let them throw a side session, let them throw a minor league game. But when you're competing against other countries, representing your own country for games that mean as much as the WBC games do, it's hard for those pitchers to throttle back. They're going to bring their best.
Called strike 3, and the inning is over, but back-to-back 2-out hits resulting in the Rockies' 5th run. 5-1, last of the 8th coming up. Manny Corpus is now working for the Rockies. Jason Marquis went 7 innings, gave up just 5 hits and only 1 run. Corpus and the closer Houston Street struggled on Sunday in a loss to the Phillies. Line and caught by Barnes. I mean, he barely had to move. They had a position ideally. Fowler, who knocked in a run off the bench, stays in to play center. That moves Spilborghs from center to right.
Next batter, shortstop Ryan Terrio.
Corpus is into Ian Stewart's spot. Stewart's out. Corpus struggled early last year, lost the closer role in April. Prior to last season, he signed a 4-year contract plus a couple of option years. They got Street from Oakland in the Matt Holliday deal.
Street figures to be the closer for most of the season. I think that's at least the way the Rockies would like to have it evolve. But should Houston Street struggle in his first year in the National League, I think Glenn Hurdle would be willing to flip-flop the roles out there in the bullpen between the setup guy and the closer.
Corpus pitched for Panama in the WBC. Nice catch by Spilborghs over near the bullpen mound. Tonight, the regular season will end. Derek Rose and the Bulls will battle the Toronto Raptors. Final test before the playoffs. Coverage starts with Bulls pregame live. Bulls Raptors tonight at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Luka Dome has reached once and has grounded out the other 2 times, once on a bunt attempt. If you're a pitcher from Panama, good chance you grew up idolizing Mariano Rivera. That's the case for Manny Corpus. If you're a position player, got to be Rod Carew.
Makes sense. Corpus actually won Mariano Rivera's number today.
In honor of the late Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in 1947 on this date. Every Major League person in uniform throughout baseball today wearing 42. A ground ball helped in ranging a bit to his right. Corpus covering. It goes 3-1 and the Cubs go down in order. We'll head to the 9th. Rockies 5, Cubs 1. Wonderful work by our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew. Angel Guzman in the 9th gave up a run in the 8th. 1 ball, no strikes to Seth Smith. He came in at 1 for 14, but he has hit a home run and walked twice. Seth Smith has had a day like your former Giants teammate Rob Deere. Strikeouts, walks, and home runs.
Rob Deere could do that with the best of them.
I just read Q&A with him on baseballprospectus.com. I think you may remember the Giants asked him to change positions. He didn't want to do it. Ended up getting traded.
I don't recall the specifics of that. Yeah. He was a guy, we used to call him the man child. Rob Deere, big, strong guy, about 6'5", 235 pounds, and just he had a lot more horsepower than his feet could handle. Every time he broke for a ball in the outfield, his feet would come out from under him. But he could hit the ball as far as anybody I ever saw.
Leadoff walk. Closer Houston Street is up. Pitch to Helton, swing and a miss. Throw to first and Smith is back. Started off, it was overcast, cold and windy. Still cold and windy, but the sun is out. Ground ball glancing off the glove of Guzman. Terrio up with it, and he'll get Helton at first.
Instinctive play we talk about all the time. Chances are Guzman doesn't get a glove on that ball. It leads Ryan Terrio right to the bag for an easy 6-3 double play, but unfortunately deflects back to the Riot's right. He's got to change direction and only has the out at first base.
Atkins takes a breaker for a strike. So the story from baseballprospectus.com, Rob Deere was asked in his rookie year of 1985 to go back to instructional league to try catching, and he didn't want to do it. Roger Craig called him in, and eventually he got traded to Milwaukee, and he said that was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
What the heck was wrong with the catchers?
I was going to say
for the Giants in '85.
So next time you talk to Rob Deere, you could ask him about that. Soft liner caught by Terrio. What are you trying to do? Take my job? And say, you know what? That's why I didn't want to do it.
Thank you for that. Yeah. I needed all the help I could get to stay in the big leagues.
Your attention, please, for the Rockies. Coming on the big shed, Jeff Baker.
Do you think he would have been a good catcher?
Well, that's hard to say. I mean,
he didn't want to do it, so I guess.
And that's the very first prerequisite of being a good catcher is the fact that you want to be a catcher. That's half the battle right there. Certainly would have been a big target.
Hit foul by Jeff Baker.
Well, they were recruiting fans out of the stands to catch for the Giants in 1985.
It's away 1-1. Rockies lead by 4 as they try to earn a split. A 4-game series later in the year in Denver. August 7th through the 10th. Cubs will have an off day on a Thursday, and then 4 games, including a Monday night in Colorado. We'll have 3 of those 4 games here on Comcast Sportsnet. Got him, called strike 3, and the inning is over. Last chance now for the Cubs as we get to the bottom of the 9th. That Houston Street's coming on. Jason Marquis returning to Wrigley Field, and Bob, he had everything working today.
Boy, especially on the mound, and we know what he can do with the bat. A big 2 RBI single into center field. He's off to a great start this season. We wish him nothing but the best, except when he's pitching against the Cubs.
Not a safe spot for Houston Street. They'll face Lee, Fontenot, and Johnson. Here we go. Ball 1, rather strike 1. Wrigley debut for Street. Most saves before the age of 26, but the most blown saves in the American League over the last 4 years with Oakland. They climbed to deep left for Derek Lee, and it'll go! A home run. 5-2. Starting to find his stroke. He's had a good series. That's his 3rd hit today.
That's a nice quick swing by Derek Lee. You can see from that slinging action from Houston Street, a lot of tail and sink on that fastball. Our Heineken home run replay. Derek Lee touching him up for a line drive home run to left center field.
Strike 1 on Fontenot. First blast of the year for D. Lee.
Take another look at that Derek Lee home run. Tailing, sinking fastball on the inside part of the plate. You've got to get your bat to that ball quickly in order to get the barrel on it, and Derek does. Really fast hands that time. First bomb of the year.
259th of his career. 4 hits on the homestand. Cap time. The relievers now, Bob, have allowed 8 home runs in under 25 innings. Actually 25 and a third now after Corpus went 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. That's way too many home runs.
Houston Street with a very odd windup out there. He starts almost directly in the middle of the rubber, but after he gets his sign, he takes that first step. Watch how far to the first base side of the rubber he goes. The toe is just barely making contact with the rubber, giving him just an incredible angle, especially on those left-handed hitters to throw down and away, or the right-handed hitters to throw down and in with that sinker ball.
Clint Hurdle has somebody up in the bullpen, even though his closer's on the mound with a 3-run lead. Not taking any chances. Ball 4. Leadoff homer by Lee, and now a walk by Fontenot. That is Jason Grilli.
Grilli is one of the Rockies relievers that has been throwing the ball pretty well in the early going this season. Be a huge confidence booster for your closer to look down there and see a pitcher warming up in the 9th inning after you faced one batter, but Hurdle's going to do what he has to do to win a ball game.
And to try to break what has ballooned into a 9-game Cubs winning streak and Rockies losing streak at Wrigley, going back to October 1st of 06. Pirates, the only visiting team with a longer losing streak here since 1954, according to BaseballReference.com. Pirates with 3 losing streaks here that have been longer than 9 games, but the Rockies have really scuffled. And they're trying to hold on. Street was not in a safe spot when he came in, but if he's taken out, he's created one for the next guy. The pitch to Reed Johnson. In there, nothing in 1. Street was the Rookie of the Year in 2005. It was a year after he was drafted out of the University of Texas in 04. And it'll get through, and Fontenot better hurry. Here comes the throw to second, gets by. They might have had him. Mike turned around, went back to first, and then that ball got past Barmas. And Mike had to race to second, and the throw by Spilborghs got past the bag. 2 on, no outs.
I think a good throw gets him at second base. The mistake Fontenot made was turning his back to the play. You could see him clearly there. He was looking over his right shoulder, facing home plate as that ball dropped in right field. He's got to get turned around, get to second base, try to beat Ryan Spielborg's throw, and fortunately that throw is in the dirt and gets away from Tulowitzki.
Well, no matter what happens the rest of this inning, Clint Hurdle is going to have to talk to the media about his closer situation and what's going on in the 9th. They've had some struggles the last couple of times around, and Jason Grilli will come on. Tying run is at the plate. We'll be back. trying to bail out Houston Street and the Rockies. And the Cubs trying to pull off another comeback against this team. Giovanni Soto at the plate. It's 5-2. That's a strike. Good slider from Grilly. Marmol cranking it up just in case. We should know it. Brian Fuentes now with the Angels. And the Rockies trying to sort some things out late in their bullpen. The kick and the pitch. Home run cut came up empty. You thinking about Milwaukee late last year? Gio came up against Solomon Torres, Alan Embry in their bullpen.
That's that fence high fastball. If you can make solid contact with that pitch up there at the letters, a chance to do some serious damage.
In the dirt, Fontenot. Oh man, he got thrown out at third. Ball just got away barely from Iannetta, and that could loom very large.
That ball didn't get too far away. You see both players in your picture. Fontenot froze for a long time, and the ball just didn't get far enough away from Iannetta for Mike Fontenot to advance on to third base. That's one of those situations, trailing in the ninth, you have to be 100% sure you can make it to third base.
Oh, 1-2 pitch. Two and two. Johnson's at first. Full count. Payoff delivery. Broke his bat. Can you believe this? A 6-3 double play to end it. Jason Grilly came on, and after just a few pitches, he got out of it. Cubs had the tying run at the plate, but then Fontenot got thrown out at third, and a 6-3 double play to end the game.
Talk about letting the air out of the balloon in a hurry. In the course of 3 pitches, the Cubs went from nobody out, the tying run at the plate, to ball game over.
So it's a split, and the Cardinals will come in tomorrow, first of a 4-game weekend series. That'll do it for our game coverage.